Hello and welcome to this week's live timeline session. Again, if you were here for the earlier one, the vet called and everything's more or less fine, but I just had to take that call. But now I am back and we'll just start over at the beginning. If you don't know, this is going through the timeline sessions from the Next Generation Clarinet method. That is my method book that has all of the information about how to play the clarinet. The timelines tell you what to do and gives you sort of a daily practice routine that you can follow along. And there's also videos in there that sort of describe how to do everything. But let's go ahead and get started with the session for today, which starts with our daily warm-up, starting with some long tones, some scale long tones, where the focus is great sound quality, good connections between the notes, all that good stuff. So let's go for it. I'm going to try playing really soft to go for those good extremes of the dynamics. Something that I really like to think about in long tones especially is if there's one note that sounds really good, then I want to try to match all of the notes to that. So I feel like my E was sounding pretty good, so I was trying to see if I could get the F to match and all that good stuff. Now I'm going to do the next line, and now I'm going to try it loud to get that other extreme and see if I can still have good quality. So that's long tones. So making sure that those, again, the sound quality is always good no matter what the dynamic is, that the notes match as much as possible, all that good stuff. But now we're on to technique. And for technique, I'm going to be doing the climbing up the chromatic scale finger flexibility. This is actually very similar to the ascending scales that are sort of the main session, so this is a good sort of preview and really good practice overall. And I wasn't like 100% happy with my long tone sound quality. It was fine. This read isn't great, but I want to work with it and see if I can get it. So I'm going to be going a little bit slower, a little bit without the metronome here. Still really precise fingers, but I'm also going to be thinking super duper relaxed hands as well. And even though this is all right hand stuff so far, I'm still keeping the left hand really, really relaxed, trying to find how it feels to really hold the clarinet and keep that really steady as well. This one I'm going to go a little bit slower. There's several notes in this one that are a little bit airier, so I want to sort of focus that sound quality in. I'm feeling a little bit of tension in my hand, so I'm just going to relax that out. The sound is better, and I feel like the more work that I do to get the sound good, the more tension comes into the hand, so I need to separate those. And again, even though there's all left hand notes that I'm doing right now, I'm feeling some tension creeping in my right hand, so I want to keep that relaxed. It's really a great thing to be thinking about on these exercises as you're doing it, no matter what fingers you're doing. Do enough repetitions that you have enough time to make sure that the fingers that you're moving are moving really well, and also check in with the other fingers and make sure that there's not any extra tension anywhere. Tension is the enemy. I don't know why I keep getting water in there. This is all of the throat tones, so I'm really working hard to keep that motion as minimal as possible and still relaxed, of course. that was the end of that. So next up we have our articulation. Articulation. And this is just the very simple scale articulation. I will probably do it 2 octaves. It's just written 1 octave. But it's okay to expand the exercises. Just make sure you aren't doing more just to do more, but you're getting the quality in what's written, and you're doing more to get more quality and to challenge yourself to get further quality, not just more just for the sake of it. And I'm doing just the first note in lots of different ways, experimenting with the articulation, experimenting with the tongue motion, seeing if I can get that independent, keep the sound quality, and find the best tongue motion. Now I'll do the exercise as written. And I have about a minute left, so I'm going to try some staccato. I was really noticing that when I do staccato and bring my tongue back to the reed for longer, my tongue shape was changing a little bit as I was experimenting. So I want to see if I can do it without changing my tongue shape and keep it that same really great quality that I was getting on the legato. really happy with that staccato. That's actually some of the better staccato I've potentially ever done. So that was a good exercise. That experimenting paid off because I could sort of find it. Awesome. Now we're on to the actual main session part. And for today's session, we're doing page 37, the ascending scales. And the purpose here is be sure to always be using a metronome as you practice these technique exercises. It doesn't have to be fast, but it does need to be steady. This exercise in particular is great to start thinking about 2, 3, 4, 1 note groupings and leading forward to the next beat. Watch my Fast Note Freakout YouTube video starting around 11 minutes for more information on that. Since you don't have the link to the video, you could find the Fast Note Freakout video, but I'll give you a little bit of a quick explanation of what that is. So this 2, 3, 4, 1 groupings is instead of doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, where it's always sort of slamming the beat and then reacting to the beat. What we're actually doing is playing more leading forward in a more logical and more musical way of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So it's those inner notes leading to the beat that helps the music to flow forward, makes more musical groupings rather than hitting and reacting. On this pattern, that's especially helpful because this pattern is very beat based, so it can be really easy to do. That's actually not super musical. What we want is to hear those inner notes and lead a good connection down back to the next note. So we want to think of those groupings. That's much more musical than. So let me go ahead and do it, and I will do this with the metronome. Sorry if it sounds annoying, but you gotta do it correct. And I'm just gonna go nice and comfortable to work on those groupings, work on that sound quality, and the ultra relaxed fingers. So that felt pretty good. Now I'm going to do one of my favorite things where I just double the tempo. So now I'm going to do 16th notes rather than 8th notes. Don't have to change the metronome, but I practice it at a few different speeds. Next, A minor note. Next one. This may be borderline too fast. Like if you don't feel comfortable and if you're playing any wrong notes consistently, just go slower so it can be easy and you have enough bandwidth to think about the quality of the playing. That's that. Okay, cool. I'm about halfway done, so I could probably do another key. Let me pick a key. Let's see. How about B flat major? That's a nice one. trying some different counting things that I'll probably make a video on at some point. That's why I'm doing so many repetitions. But it's interesting to sort of mix up the counting and see how it feels. And then G minor, harmonic minor. Interesting. Let me go ahead and explain what I'm doing with the counting, just because it might be interesting for you to try. So this idea comes from David McGill's Sound in Motion, with this idea that the first note is not the interesting note per se, it's the second note that sort of sets the rhythm. Because if I just did, then you don't know, is that a quarter note, is it an eighth note, is it a 16th note? It could be anything depending on the tempo, and you don't know how fast I'm going to continue to go after that until you hear. Once you have two notes, then you can sort of set d d d d d d d d d d, set a steady beat from there. So the way that I'm counting it is, normally we would do 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, or in this case I was doing 16th notes, so 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a, but what I was doing instead, or what I normally do, and what I talk about in the timeline is 2, 3, 4, 1 groupings, and I talk about that in the fast note freakout, which helps us to get these inner notes because it's that second note again. Like I said, that's the more interesting one. So if you count with more of an emphasis on 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. That helps you to get it. The way that McGill actually does it is to do 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1E and 2 becomes 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're actually on the beat on count 4, which seems very unintuitive and unnatural to me. And that's why I was sort of adjusting as I went along. But I found that it actually made it much more smooth when I was thinking that way. Let's do a little experiment. I'm going to do 2 ways. I'm not going to tell you which way I'm thinking of it, but I want you to see or comment which one you feel like is more smooth and more musical. So this is the first option. Oh, not that. Second option. No, the second option. I don't know if you could hear a difference. They probably sound extremely similar. The thought process is just a little bit different, and they do feel a little bit different to me. The first one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. The second one was 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So you can see sort of what you think about that. I did notice as I was playing, it was kind of nice. I was also trying out a hybrid that I might experiment with more, where you have the second note still being a 1 so that you're really grabbing it, but also the first note being a 1. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. That one would sound like this. So they're all just slightly different. And the thing about this is they may not sound that different, but they feel a lot different to play. And just conceptualizing of those different counts, whether you like 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, or even 1E and a 2E and a, or if you want to get really crazy, Takadimi or whatever those other systems are of counting rhythms, that's fine. But doing different systems of counting rhythms are great ways to really force yourself to really be confident and comfortable with the notes. Because if you can do the notes even and well with the metronome with a good sound with relaxed fingers while thinking of multiple different counting systems different times in your head, then you really know how to do it. So that can be a great sort of bonus challenge for you to try out as you're doing these. And remember, these exercises are very simple, but it's all about how deep you go with them, and how much you try to get out of really getting the precision and different ways of really knowing it and testing yourself. So for my progress on this one, I'm going to just say a note about those different counting systems. So like 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 is actually good. Vinny might be right. I also am experimenting with the 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. So I might experiment with that more as well for different counting ways. Yeah, so that's that. That's the timeline session. As always, feel free to ask any questions. I'll probably do a separate video on all this counting stuff because it is a little interesting. The book is Sound in Motion by David McGill if you want to explore it more yourself. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Definitely leave a like if you found this to be helpful. And if you're going through the timelines, I wish you the best of luck and keep pushing through it. I think we're around halfway through the mastery timeline now. Maybe a little less than halfway. But it's been going really well. And I will see you next Monday, as long as there's nothing crazy that comes up. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.